What's up, guys? It's Chris. Happy Friday. I hope everybody had a great week. We just got done loading up the FedEx truck. We got one more freight truck we're waiting on, but then we are done for the week. So cheers, Miller Time. Sponsor us. This video, all we want to talk about, just some of the prototypes we're working on, which includes this Modesty panel. A lot of people want to have their desk out in the open and want to be able to hide cables. So we've been working on something really cool. The color, ignore the color, we were just using up some leftover powder. Basically, you'll be able to hide, the shroud will cover the entire desk, and just not show your crotch when you're standing. You know, if it's more of an executive style seating, if you have some seats there, you know, they're not going to see you. And then, you know, one minor tweak, Toph, if you want to come over here, that we want to do is we're going to try to integrate, do a couple weldments on here just to integrate some wire management, so when you have everything underneath here, it's not hanging down. We're in a warehouse, so we had to plug it in somewhere. Ideally, if this was in an office, you'd have a power core right in the floor, be able to plug directly in. You know, that said, one thing to keep in mind, if you guys are interested in something like this, a couple things. Because it's so large, you would have to ship freight. So even though like the actual value of it, the cost to make it is not that high, it's gonna be a pretty, expensive thing to ship. However, that kind of gets negated when you get a solid wood top from us, because we're already shipping it on a pallet. So to just add this to the pallet, isn't gonna be too expensive. I really don't know cost, so I'm not gonna say anything. And then another thing to keep in mind, if you are, or are interested in something like this, monitor clamps, they'd have to be grommet mounted. So you would have to drill your own holes for that, whether, wherever you put them, and any other, wire management stuff would have to be via grommets. So that's something we've been working on. Don't really have a timeline on that yet. It's really hard. We're small, so when we go to manufacturers to make things for us, we're not hitting those like huge volume numbers, and everybody is at like capacity. They're turning away customers, and they're not exactly looking for customers like us when we're only going to run a couple hundred of these. But that said, we finally do have our monitor stand almost ready to go. This is a piece of walnut we've had for well over a year, so it's not in its best condition. But along the same thing, we found a manufacturer to work with us to make our legs for it. Got our nice little logo laser engraved or laser cut into this. And then we're also just deciding whether we want to offer like 3 stands. So like you could have a space right here for something a little bit wider. You don't need it. And then if you have a bigger desk and a bigger one, maybe you're going to want that center support. Not really sure, but that should be up by the end of the month. We'll probably include this in our Michigan series. I don't know what the pricing is going to look like, but that's the idea. And then lastly, did I mention the cable snakes at all? So, I think the cable snakes are pretty straightforward, but I'm in the industry and some of you guys don't get exactly how to put them together. So we're going to talk about that. We've got a cable snake right over here, and when you get it, it's going to come in a whole bunch of pieces. And there's no real order that you have to put it all together. It's going to be in, a piece like this size. The magnet pieces, it's going to come are like this. So this piece right here and this piece right here. There's no order. There's some numbers on here like 5. I'm pretty sure that's just the plastic like content, whatever. It's not like the order that you need to assemble it. But the other thing people always say is they go, oh, I went to go put it together and it doesn't stay. Like, it takes effort. Like, y'all, you got to go to the gym, give it a good push, and it should click in. And then also, that said, when you go to pull it apart, you got to, apply some effort to get it apart. So we're going to just put it together really quick. This is how I kind of assemble it. And the reason I do this is when we assemble it or add it to the base, the magnet on bottom keeps it, from swaying around. And then the 2 magnets higher up, which that's actually not where I would put it. I'd put the 2 magnets a little bit higher. And then also, guys, you're going to get this top mount with 2 screws, and that's going to plug in just like that. So as the desk goes up and down, it's going to move. But I put the 1 magnet down below because it, it keeps it from moving down here, and then the 2 magnets higher, because if these magnets were up here, as the desk gets lower, the weight of the cables are kind of going to pull down, and it might pull off your magnet. So you don't want them too high, but you also don't want them too low. But having 2 magnets up high gives it a little bit more holding strength. So I would probably push those. We'll do it right now, actually. Let's see. That's the top of the magnet. So we're gonna pull those off. Pull off that. So there you go. You know, that's gonna raise it that way. We're not gonna plug it in, but when the desk does lower, you know, it's gonna look really nice, especially when it comes on here. But again, if this was too high with the weight of the cables in here, it could pull off like that. So then you would just want to lower the magnet a little bit. And again, there's no like right or wrong for doing this. You know, you could put it on the outside, you could put it, you know, however you want. It doesn't really matter. It's just a really nice way to control, you know, the amount of wires you have going down and where they're headed. So I think that's it. We'll probably have that on the website by the end of the month. That's how you do the cable snakes. And then this, we don't have a set time frame. Maybe we'll introduce a new Michigan series where this is part of it, or an add-on, because again, it's going to be really difficult to ship something like this via FedEx, and really expensive. But if it's going freight already because you got a wood top, it's probably going to be pretty inexpensive to ship with it. But that's it, guys. Have a great weekend. See ya.